A shopkeeper bought a washing machine at a discount of 20% from a wholesaler. The printed price of the washing machine being rupees 18,000, the shopkeeper sells it to a consumer at a discount of 10% on the printed price. If the sales are intra-state and the rate of GST is 12%, find number 1 the price inclusive of tax under GST at which shopkeeper bought the machine. Number 2 the price which the consumer pays for the machine. Number 3 the tax under GST paid by the wholesaler to the state government. Question number 4 the tax under GST paid by the shopkeeper to the state government. And question number 5 the tax under GST received by the central government. How to solve this sum part by part? So let's try how to solve. Printed price of the washing machine rupees 18,000, discount rate 20%. So 20% of 18,000, that comes to rupees 3600. So the selling price of the washing machine 18,000 minus 3600, that is 14,400. The GST rate is 12%. The tax under GST for the machine will be 12 by 2, that is CGST and SGST, that comes to 864 each. Now come to the question number 1. Hence the shopkeeper bought the machine at the price 14,400 plus 864 plus 864, that comes to 16,128. Come to the next part. The tax under GST paid by the wholesaler to the state government 864. Now the machine is sold to the consumer at 10% discount of the printed price. That should be printed price, PRIC. Discount is 10%, that is 18,000 into 10%, that is 1800. Now, so the selling price for the shopkeeper, that is 18,000 minus 1800, that comes to 16,200. The taxes under GST for the machine, that will be divided between the central and state half. So that comes to 972. Now come to the next part. Thus the consumer paid price, that is 16,200 plus 972 plus 972, that comes to 18,144. Now the tax under GST paid by the shopkeeper to the state government 972 minus 864, that comes to 108, that is 108. And the tax under GST received by the government is 972. Okay. Now come to the next question. A manufacturer listed the price of the goods for rupees 1600 per article. He allowed a discount of 25% to a wholesaler, who in turn allowed a discount of 20% on the listed price to the retailer. The retailer sells one article to a consumer at a discount of 5% on the listed price. If the sales are intrastate and the rate of GST is 5%, then find the price per article inclusive of tax under GST which the wholesaler pays. Number 2, the price per article inclusive of tax under GST which the retailer pays, the amount which the consumer pays for the article, the tax under GST paid by the wholesaler to the state government for the article, the tax under GST paid by the retailer to the central government for the article, and the tax under GST received by the state government. There are 6 questions, all 6 small questions. Come to the solution part one by one. the listed price per article 1600, discount rate from the manufacturer 25%. So 25% of 1600, that comes to 400. So the selling price per article to the wholesaler, that is listed price minus discount, that is 1600 minus 400, that comes to 1200. Okay. The rate of GST 5%. So GST 5% of that 1200, that comes to rupees 60. Thus, the price per article inclusive of tax under GST which the wholesaler pays, that is selling price of the manufacturer plus GST, that is 1200 plus 60, that is the 1260. Come to the Roman 2, that is the second part of the question. The wholesaler resells at a discount of 20% on the listed price per article to the retailer. So 1600 into 20%, that comes to 320. So selling price will be 1600 minus 320 is equal to 1280, 1280. Now the GST rate is the 5%. So 5% of that 1280, that comes to 64. Thus the price per article inclusive of tax under GST which the retailer pays, that is 1280 plus 64, that comes to 1344. See, further the retailer resells at a discount of 5% on the listed price, that per article to the consumer, that is 5 if it is 5% discount, that is 1600 into 5%, that comes to 80. So selling price of the wholesaler, that is 1600 minus 80 is equal to 1520. Now apply GST 5%. So 5% of that 1520, that comes to 76. Thus the listed price per article inclusive of tax under GST which the consumer pays 1520 plus 76, that comes to 1596. Now come to the next part, the tax, that is under GST paid by the wholesaler to the state government for the article 64 minus 62 by 2, so that comes to 2. The tax under GST paid by the retailer to the central government for the article 76 minus 84 by 2, so negative figure negligible. So don't take only the you have to take the absolute value, that is 12 by 2 is equal to 6. The tax under GST received by the state government 76 by 2, that is 38. Come to the next question. Mukherjee purchased a movie camera for rupees 25,488, which includes 10% rebate on the list price and 18% tax under GST on the remaining price. Find the marked price of the camera. So marked price of the camera, let be 100, rebate 10% is equal to 10%, discount is equal to 10. So remaining, that is selling price of the camera 90. Now the rate of GST is the 18%. So 18% of 90, that comes to 16.2. So total cost of the camera 90 plus 16.2, 106.20, 106.20. Now the purchase price is 25,488. Hence the purchase price is 106.2, then the market price is 100. Just apply that unitary method, you will get the market price of the movie camera is 24,000. Come to the next question. The marked price of an article is rupees 7,500. A shopkeeper buys the article from a wholesaler at some discount and sells it to a consumer at a marked price. The sales are interstate and rate of GST is 12% if the shopkeeper pays 90 as taxes under GST to the state government, find the amount of discount. Number 2, price inclusive of tax under GST of the article which the shopkeeper paid to the wholesaler. So how to proceed? The marked price of the article 7500. Let the discount be x%. So discount will be x% of 7500. That comes to 75x. So the selling price of the article from the wholesaler, that is 7500 minus 75x. The rate of GST is 12%. So the tax under GST paid by the shopkeeper to the state government, that is 6% of 7500 minus 75x. Put it as equation 1. The shopkeeper resells the article at the marked price to a consumer. Then the tax under GST paid by the shopkeeper to the state government, that is 6% of 7500. I am writing equation number 2. Hence the net tax under GST paid by the shopkeeper to the state government, that is 2 minus 1, that is 6% of 75x. So ultimately it is given that the 6% of 75x will be 90. Take out the values of the x, that will be 20. So the discount rate is 20%. Now come number 1, that now the amount of discount 20% of 7500, that comes to 1500. The price inclusive of tax under GST of the article which the shopkeeper paid to the wholesaler, that is marked price minus discount plus GST. So GST is the 12% of the marked price minus discount, that the 7500 into 12% minus 1500. So ultimately that comes to 720. Therefore the price inclusive of tax under GST of the article which the shopkeeper paid to the wholesaler, that is 6000 plus 720, that comes to 6720. Okay. Then come to the next question. A retailer buys an article at a discount of 15% on printed price from wholesaler. He mark up a price of 10% on the printed price, but due to the competition in the market, he allows a discount of 5% on the marked price to a buyer. If the rate of the GST is 12% and the buyer pays 468.16 for the article inclusive of tax, that is under GST, find the printed price of the article and the profit percentage of retailer. The solution. Come to the solution one by one. Let the printed price of the article be x. So the retailer marks up by 10%. So x plus 10% of x, that comes to 1.1x. So again after giving discount of 5%. So 5% of 1.1x, that comes to 0.055x. Rate of GST is 12%. So that figure 1.1x minus 0.55x into 12%. So that comes to 12% of this 1.045x. Now the buyer pays 468.16 for the article inclusive of tax under GST. So ultimately, as per the condition, 1.045x plus 12% of this figure is equal to 468.16. After that, a little bit simplification, few steps, you will get x is equal to 400. So therefore the printed price of the article is 400. Now come to the second part. The retailer buys at 15% discount of the printed price and sells at a 5% discount for the marked price of 10% on printed price. So 400 minus 15% of 400. So that comes to 400 minus 60 is equal to 340. Sold at 400 plus 10% of 400 minus 5% of 400 plus 400 of 10% a little bit simplification, ultimately you will get 480. So profit selling price minus cost price, 480 minus 340 is equal to 78. Hence the profit percentage, how to calculate, you will get 78 divided by 340 into 100. You will get 22.94% will be the answer. Okay, thank you.